Monstrous Elite Cavalry is one of those unit classes that has some hits, has some misses, has some units which situationally can be quite good. I would say that the Necropolis Knights definitely fall into that last category, especially these Halberd variant, which against Bretonnia in the hands of Pigmen here, let's see how they can do. Keep in mind, this is with the tournament rule set that limits Bretonnia to one Grail tier unit. That is one unit that has Blessing of the Lady sort of innately. Grail Knights, Royal Pegasus Knights, Royal Hippogriff Knights, Grail Guardians, things like that. So we do have one unit of Royal Hippogriff Knights here with Lewin, essentially as a second Blessing of the Lady, Grail unit, right? We've also got some Questing Knights here. We've got some Knights of the Realm for 2 additional pox, arrows, peasant mobs, lots of battle pilgrims, including the Holy Wardens of the Mazental up front to try and DPS through skeletons. And looks like Damsel Lore of Life as well, a Grail Relic to help support leadership. And the Tomb Kings standing firm with who else but Arcan the Black, a couple of chosen, or Ushapti Krapos rather, one of them the ROR of course, Screaming Skull Catapult, Skeleton Spears, and then the 3 Necropolis Knights with Halberds, which, do they actually have the Construct tag? Yes they do, which means they can be healed by the Necrotect, who is here with Restore. Of course, anytime you have monstrous elite cavalry, it's nice to have healing. Lewin gonna go for a risky early attack on Arcan, try and get some damage in. Necropolis Knights immediately respond here. Gonna get some damage in on him. Ooh, looks like the Necrotech's also on a chariot, which helps him have some extra mass to be able to stay with the Necropolis Knights so he doesn't get too caught up. They're gonna punch out, try and counteract these Knights of the Realm here. Hippogriff Knights look like they're gonna try and perhaps drop the catapult. Yeah, I don't know. I would just let the archers take care of the catapult. Looks like they're doing a decent enough job of it already. Royal Hippogriff Knights instead should be directly targeting Necropolis Knights on the charge so that the Necropolis Knights can't respond likewise, but instead they get themselves into a horrible position here. Skeleton summons, Necropolis Knights on all sides. They're going to take significant damage. Well, yeah, about half. A little less than half their HP in damage, but still. The Chosen of the Gods, meanwhile, severely compromised with all the Necropolis Knights rushing to Hippogriffs. Questing Knights get in there on the Chosen of the Gods, do a massive amount of damage before they can respond. Of course, Screaming Skull crew is long gone, but those Royal Hippogriff Knights took a lot of damage on that engagement. Did drop 3 unit models as well, which is definitely painful. Can't heal through all that. But it looks like Holy Wardens chasing skeletons, who are with some Necropolis Knights chasing the Knights of the Realm, so a little Benny Hill action out there in the distance. As the Bretonian archers are definitely going to be a force potentially here. Let's see if the Necropolis Knights try and swing out and attack them, or if they're going to try and stay defensive here. Necropolis Knights do have 100 armor, of course. 110 even, but the Halberd variant do not have shields, so they're going to be somewhat vulnerable to the shooting of these peasant bowmen as they all focus fire here. Of course, they're non-AP, but volume has quality all its own, or whatever they say. As the Royal Hippogriff Knights charge in to interrupt at least the one unit, they are going to take massive DPS. The other Necropolis Knight here, rather than pathing into the archers, is going to now turn around and rear charge Hippogriffs. Crazy how the Necropolis Knights are like the same size as the Hippogriffs, but all this time, peasant archers just raining death in here. It is going to be a painful sacrifice for the Royal Hippogriff Knights, but they might actually be able to finish off one unit of Necropolis Knights here. Let's see. The other unit trying to stand. Meanwhile, the Necrotech nowhere to be found, just chasing off those Knights of the Realm with a little bit of a tactical reserve situation. Not here to heal this Necropolis Knight to sustain them, but Arcan's in the back line, getting his skeleton summons recharged by murdering peasant bowmen. Lewin also flying around in the back, chasing those Ushapti Great Bows. Is going to be vulnerable to these Necropolis Knights. The Necrotech also without support. Looks like the skeletons going to fight some peasants. That's the fight we all want to see, right? No, of course. We're going to keep it here as Arcan the Black and the Necropolis Knights run through the skeletons, the peasants even. Soon to be skeletons, to be honest. They're getting just chased down and routed off by the Ushapti Summon and various other heavy construct units here. Looks like the Spirit Leech on the Damsel of Life. We've got the Hippogriff Knights coming back. The Holy Wardens are going to be potentially dangerous here in this late game, but Lewin also kind of nopes out of that engagement. Did at least force those Ushapti Greybows into crumbling, but of course they're going to take quite some time to crumble. Probably about 2 minutes, so We'll see. Yeah, probably going to be able to still get some damage in during that time. But Bretonnia trying to rally some of their troops together, but definitely having some pretty serious leadership issues. Battle Pilgrims are going to be a little bit more sturdy on that front. A big block of them helping out these peasant mobs here, try and sustain this fight just through sheer numbers. Summon Dushabti also pretty much gone. Yeah, they've got like 15 seconds left. So definitely anyone's game still. A lot of it comes down to how Lewin is able to operate with his supporting units, but it looks like he's going to try and go after Arcan as he is somewhat away from support. These Necropolis Knights definitely could get back in time, but then that would kind of bail out these Peasant Bowmen. So a nice play by Bretonnia here to kind of force Hand of the Tomb Kings. Oof. Mischarge by Lewin, though, is painful. He's going to follow up, though, and still get an attack in the back there. Yep, Necropolis Knights coming back to help, which means the Peasant Bowmen should rally here. Let's see. Perhaps their leadership is pretty low, but they all rally and start shooting these Necropolis Knights in the back. That could be a very dangerous situation for the Tomb Kings. We do have the Southern Necropolis Knight, too, just running shop on all these non-anti-large infantry, trying to sweep through them. Skeleton Summon also for the Tomb Kings to try and help these Necropolis Knights out. Peasant Bowmen do come back from rout, and they're going to start to focus their fire there. The armor debuff from Sword of Crone also. It's not going to last too long, but uptime will actually help. Oof, those Peasant Bowmen actually shatter. That's super painful right when they were about to start assisting in that fight. But yeah, Necropolis Knights take some serious damage during that. There's still one more pretty much full health unit, though, at this point. It's going to be just about backbreaking. Holy Wardens also, again, chasing these skeletons, we're just kind of leading them away from the important fight here. Lewin trying to get his arrow support as best he can once again, but the tattered, scattered peasant archers can only do so much, especially with Arcan moving in, attack them, Spirit Leech on Lewin, and back to attacking them. The skeleton summons also just continuing to provide bodies here to break up whatever support Bretonnia can try and get together, and suddenly things turn very quickly against them as Lewin is being chased off by the Necropolis Knights. Doesn't have anything nearby to screen for him. Again, the Holy Wardens are way out in the boonies there. So this is probably, even though the balance of power says it's still pretty even, this is probably the game-breaking play right here. Well, let's see, maybe if Lewin's able to escape. He hasn't actually routed yet, but Necropolis Knights were taking some damage during that, but not a lot. And, I mean, in terms of what's here to support Lewin, it's not like it's particularly impressive units, right? So, Archer's getting a little bit of damage in there. Necrotech, let's see, does he still have probably one more restore? It's still both restores left. Yeah, that's going to be game. We'll fast forward through the late game here as Lewin rallies his peasants together, going to try and make a stand, but inevitably, especially with that restore in the back pocket, Spirit Leech from Arcan the Black, Sword of Corone trying to do whatever support it can, and certainly the Battle Pilgrims, especially with leadership support. The Grail Relic will hang on for quite some time. Peasant Archer is also continuing to fire in, so maybe, I mean, well, Arcan took quite a bit of damage there, so it's always possible, I guess, if Lewin can snipe Arcan out. Oof, yeah, and the Necropolis Knights actually taking huge damage on this particular Sword of Corone from those Battle Pilgrims in melee. Maybe, there's always a chance Bretonnia can come back in this thing, but Lewin's also taking damage during all this time, and it looks like Arcan's back, possibly to interrupt. Ooh, a back-breaking Spirit Leech as well on King Lewin. Going to DPS him down. If King Lewin goes, then Bretonnia absolutely going to face army losses, I would imagine. When Necropolis Knight is done, oh yeah, and a back-breaking summon as well, right on the Peasant Archers. Bretonnia made it close there at the end, almost had it, but Arcan just too good of a character, honestly. Yeah, Arcan, the forever meta. Lore of Death, just to be honest, has been one of the most reliable lores of Magic throughout the course of Warhammer 1, 2, and 3. Characters with it tend to be meta from whatever faction, whether that be Azag or Arcan. Arcan certainly with the summons, plus Lore of Death just makes him such a powerful lord and helps support these Halberd Necropolis Knights to victory, although it certainly was very close. Necrotect heals also pretty clutch there at the end as well. Yeah, King Lewin gets massive value there. The sacrifice of the Hippogriff Knights, they didn't get too much value, but I would imagine these Peasant Archers, yeah, more than 2x on 3 of them, which is just fantastic. The Battle Pilgrims are an interesting choice here. I don't hate it totally. I would probably swap one of them out for either like multiple spears or a halberd, just to have a little bit of extra anti-large infantry in this, in case you were to face some Ushabti or heavy constructs, which, I mean, Necropolis Knights not going to be completely unheard of in this matchup, so just a little bit of extra anti-large support. Not that the Battle Pilgrims did bad, all of them killed over 100 skeletons, so in terms of clearing chaff, they definitely did their job, but raw value-wise and like the Holy Wardens of the Mazental just micro-wise got a little bit out of position on a number of occasions, which definitely could have swung that late game, especially given how low Arcann the Black is in terms of his HP. Their extra fire damage and their magical damage also bypassing Liber Mortis would make them a great counter for wherever Arcann's, you know, putting his value, right? So them in the late game kind of going off in the boonies, I think, might have been the play that changed things, honestly. Hard to say. In a close game like that, probably a number of plays could change things if they had gone differently, but that's why you play the games, right? Hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.